Problem number 46. In this problem, we will talk about the animal welfare in reference to cloning. The question related to problem number 46 is animal welfare a greater concern with mammalian cloning? So here we will only talk about the animal welfare with reference to mammalian cloning, and we can compare it with amphibian cloning as well. So let's talk about the factors which are involved in general animal welfare. Basically, three factors are involved that can affect the animal welfare. These factors are cope with unchanged environment. Second one is reduction in animals required for breeding programs. And the third one, cope with changes in farming conditions. So these are the basic three factors that can affect the animal welfare. First one is how they can adapt themselves in the unchanged environment. And let's discuss these factors one by one. When we talk about coping with unchanged environment, अगर तो cloned animals juvenile stage से pass कर चुके हैं, then they can easily adapt themselves to the unchanged environment. लेकिन अगर वो juvenile stage में ही unchanged environment को adapt नहीं कर सके, तो वो further proceed नहीं कर सकते. So only those cloned animals that have passed the juvenile stage, they can easily adapt themselves into an unchanged environment. इसके अलावा अगर हमने क्लोनिंग के लिए वो स्ट्रेन्स चूज की हैं जिनमें हाई प्रोडक्शन रेट है, then this can affect the animal welfare. Here high production is inversely proportional to animal welfare. If the production of the clones increases, animal welfare decreases. So if the strains have high number of clones, then the risk of poor welfare will be higher. यहाँ पे हम दो एनिमल्स की एग्जांपल लेते हैं. फर्स्ट वन इज ऑफ डेली रूटीन, दैट इज फास्ट ग्रोइंग ब्रॉयलर चिकन. They have the worst welfare. They may suffer from ascites and leg disorders. Then let's talk about the cows that produce much milk for the market and for the daily use. Such cows suffer from mastitis, leg disorders, and even with reproductive disorders. So here again there is poor animal welfare. Now let's talk about the second factor that is involved in animal cloning. That is reduction in animal welfare involved in breeding programs. Farm animals are used for breeding and they have a poor welfare. They are from a fast growing strain. लेकिन यहाँ पे फूड की रिस्ट्रिक्शन है, क्योंकि जब हम फार्म एनिमल्स को ग्रो करवाते हैं, we grow them at a slower stage. So at this level there is a food restriction and obviously the welfare of animals decreases. Then cloning could reduce the number of breeding animals which are needed in the market or for the commercial use. लेकिन अगर हम cloning की efficiency को improve करें, then we can improve the animal welfare as well. The third factor which is involved in general animal welfare related to cloning is cope with changes in farming conditions. अगर तो cloned animals के लिए new environment या new aspects of the environment हैं, and they can only adapt themselves if they are genetically uniform. And all the animals which are obtained after cloning are obviously have the uniformity in the genetics. For example, parental cell divides into two. From 2 we get 4 clones, and for 4 clones we get 8 clones, and so on. Here the offsprings are genetically similar to the first parental cell and they show genetic uniformity. So those cloned animals that have genetic uniformity, they can adapt themselves in the new aspects of the environment as compared to those animals that have adverse genetic aspects. लेकिन जैसे ही हम genetic uniformity की बात करते हैं, the risk of new diseases in cloned animals increases. क्योंकि जो animals में genetic uniformity है, जैसे कि cloned animals में, they are more prone to the new diseases. इसके अलावा एक और चैलेंज क्लोन्ड एनिमल्स के लिए है, दैट इज द टेम्परेचर. Because first the cloned animals are restricted to the lab and they are grown under specific temperature. But when they are introduced into the environment, the temperature changes and they have to adapt themselves. So temperature is again another factor or the challenge that has to be faced by the cloned animals. और अगर वो adapt नहीं कर सकते तो again animal welfare is an issue. So cloned animals usually have reduced adaptability because of uniformity in the genetic material. So more clones will be affected. Now let's talk about mammals in which the cloning is done by somatic cell nuclear transfer. This can lead to placental as well as to fetal abnormalities. यहाँ पे poor welfare mammalian cloning से concern है because it causes abnormalities in mother as well as in the offspring. For example, pain in mother and the offspring has to face different abnormalities. Then pluripotent stem cell is responsible for the formation of all blood cells in the body. Now if we induce pluripotent stem cell in the pig, it was observed that the pig embryos survive, but it is in worse conditions by somatic cell nuclear transfer method. So here again worse animal welfare is of concern. Let's talk about the cloned cattle. Here globally 27% mortality occur in uterus, 78% mortality in an early life of the cattle, and they have to face high rate of deformities in the offsprings. There are some problems which are common to cloned sheep as well as to cattle, and whenever we have to examine or imagine the cloned sheep, let's take an example of dolly. So the problems which are faced by the dolly same are faced by the cloned cattle. They have increase of fluid in the birth sac of the mother, increased birth weight of the baby, that will lead to large offspring syndrome. इसके अलावा जैसे कि डॉली में रेस्पिरेटरी प्रॉब्लम्स थी, सेम कैन हैपन इन द क्लोन कैटल. इसके अलावा कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड टेंडन्स, enlarged umbilical vessels, neonatal urinary tract problems they have to face. Or reduced lifespan is not only seen in dolly but now we can also see in cloned cattle. So these are the common problems faced by cloned sheep as well as by cloned cattle. Nowadays, most of the emphasis are given on pigs for the production of insulin. So cloned pigs have to face fetal mortality up to 65%, mortality of piglets or the offspring or the young ones up to 75%, and they also have a reduced lifespan. Cloned sheep, they have 42% of the cloned sheep can maintain their pregnancies, 50% give birth to live born lambs, and they have to face the deformities, and like all other cloned mammals they also have reduced lifespan. Then cloned goats, they have 31% maintain pregnancies lower than the sheep, 80% of the live born kids that can survive till the weaning. Now let's conclude over here that with reference to cloning in mammals, we have seen poor welfare in mothers as well as in cloning. यहाँ तक कि cloning procedures अगर substantial भी हैं, even then mother and offsprings have to face different problems. Somatic cell nuclear transfer के अलावा अभी तक कोई नई reproductive technology सामने नहीं आई. So for cloning we have to use this technology and we have to face its after effects. So the adverse effects can affect the animal welfare, and this is because of the genetic uniformity. Genetic uniformity की वजह से वो नए environment में अपने आप को पूरी तरह से adapt नहीं कर सकते, ना new challenges को properly face कर सकते हैं.